Hey there guys, it's B-Boy Tones, and let's get into the video. So, this is top 10 horror films you probably haven't seen. So, let me grab my list right here. At number 10, we have Thanksgiving. Now, Thanksgiving is about an evil turkey named Turkey. It is as dumb as it sounds. It was made for less than $4,000 by some college students. But if you can get past the cheap acting and the cheap look of it, you'll have a fun time. The one-liners are strong with this turkey. It's a really fun film, and you can see it on Amazon Prime for free if it's still there. So yeah, that's Turkey. Next one we have is Cube. Cube was made in the late 90s, and it is about these people who are thrown into a cube, and there's all of these different rooms all around them, and there's like a few thousand cubes, but each cube's booby trapped, and you go into it thinking it's gonna be a gore fest, super gory kills and everything. Well, the first kill is, but most of it is a psychological thriller. These people who don't know each other are just trying to get out of this cube, and makes for a really good movie. And the ending, I'm not gonna spoil it, but the ending, you don't expect the certain person or people you don't expect something, trust me. So it's a good movie. Cube, I watched that on Tubi, so Cube's a really good one to check out that one. So yeah, next one, 8, we have Krampus, which is this one right here. I love it so much I bought that one. So Krampus is about, he is the anti-Santa. So instead of Santa bringing you coal, this guy will come over, steal and capture a whole family, and leave you an ornament with Krampus on it to let you know. Now, there's many different Krampus movies, and not many of them are good. But this one manages to be really fun. It was made recently in 2015, I think. But Krampus is a really good one, and it is a horror comedy a little bit. And it's about this family who gets stuck in the snowstorm, and they're stuck in their house. And Krampus has all these like little helpers. There's like a huge Jack-in-the-Box that's terrifying. You got these teddy bears with razor teeth trying to kill you, and it's just makes for a really fun, great kind of thriller. Now, 7, we have Mother. Now, this one's a really well-made movie I saw on Hulu, and I stumbled upon it, and it was about a 2-hour movie, so it's a little long for horror movies, but this movie really quickly catches you, and I don't really know how to explain it without spoiling anything, but it is about this couple who recently just got this new house. They're living in it, and the husband is a writer, and all of a sudden, like, somebody stops thinking it's a bed and breakfast, and just stuff gets crazy from there. Later in the movie, it turns to a complete apocalypse, because it's like a few years later, the husband's a world's best-selling author, and there's a lot of underlying meaning. So if you want a deep movie that you have to pay attention to the whole thing out, I really suggest Mother. Mother is a great one to watch. Now, 6, we have The Collector. Now, this one's made in 2012, or that might be the sequel, The Collection, but I haven't seen that yet. So, The Collector. This one is a very interesting premise, and if you want a movie that will make your skin crawl, like you want to dare your friends to watch this without squirming, definitely choose The Collector. Now, The Collector is about this guy who is super poor, and I think he's divorced, but the wife has their daughter, and so to provide money for them and for himself, he has to go take these jobs at this rich family's house. And he noticed this family's making bank, so much money, and so for this family, he decides to break into this rich family's house and to get money and steal money. And because the rich people, that family is going out on vacation, so this dude breaks into the house, and while he's trying to get into the safe, he hears a scream, and little does he know, there is a masked murderer who looks kind of funny, but at the same time, he's pretty freaking scary. Same guy in the house, booby-trapped the entire house. Has this family captured. So at the same time he's trying to get this money, there's this other guy, like, just for the pure torture and fun of it, is like slaughtering this entire family, and he's trying to make it out, but at the same time save the little daughter that this family has and save the family. And it's a really crazy thriller. It's a gore fest, and it's great. So I suggest The Collector. Number 5, Gerald's Game. This is based off of a Stephen King novel, so you know it could be good. So, but it's really good. So number 5, Gerald's Game. This one is about this couple who are looking to get the relationship back together. They're married, but they just can't for some reason. They're just having marital issues. So they decide to go to a remote house in the middle of nowhere. They rented it for the weekend. And they grab they decide to roleplay. So there's no actual sex happening. What ends up happening is the wife gets tied up, and the husband gets a little too aggressive, so she gets mad, and they start arguing, and all of a sudden this husband has a heart attack, falls off the bed, and she freaked out, so she kicked him, and he cracks open his head. So she's stuck on this bed, tied up with handcuffs. And it's a crazy movie. She's trying to figure out how to live and try and survive. And she's stuck just in like this position. So it's a really great thriller. There's no real kills, but the ending is very crazy. So I suggest that one. Now, 4 is Hush, a home invasion flick, but it's not like any other you've seen. Hush is about this woman who's deaf. When she was 12, something happened to her, and she was deaf, and she can't even speak. And so basically, her ex-boyfriend, I think, is trying to get back at her. And this movie uses so many perspective techniques and camera shots, and you would never think would ever work. But this girl, she, like all final girls, is super capable and strong, and it's crazy. It's a thriller movie that really is pretty cool, and there's some gore in it with some people dying, but it makes for a great film. As this guy, you might think, why doesn't he kill her? Like, because there's a part that he could easily do it, but he's doing it all for the fun and games. And so it's a really great movie. Check that one out. Next we have Sleep Away Camp. Now, this movie, you probably have heard of the ending, which is one of the greatest endings in all of horror history. But this movie is so much more than just a great ending. This movie is so good. It's the pinnacle of B-level cheese. A B-movie cheese. It's all just unintentional, funny. It's a funny movie, like Thanksgiving, but so much more. And you have actual kid actors playing kids, and it just makes for a super fun camp slasher. And trust me, it's all funny. I watch this at least once a year, all the time. It's such a great movie, so definitely check out Sleepaway Camp. Number 2, we have The Descent. Now this one you've probably seen the cover of, or at least heard of, but I've never really watched it, so I debated putting it in here. But this is my brother's favorite horror movie, and it's one of mine, rightfully so. About this all-women's cast, which you don't even see in most horror movies, that go into this cave. And because since Juno wanted them to discover this super dope cave, they decide to go in an unmarked cave, and nobody knows where they went. They're in the Himalayas. And somewhere in the Himalayas. And so they go, and when they make it past a certain point, it collapses, the tunnel. So they're trapped in this, they're isolated in this little cave. And so they're trying to find their way out, but at the same time they find there's creatures living in that cave. And they start picking them off one by one. And it's a super great movie. The gore, if you're looking for gore, it's great in that department. Good acting, it's in that department. You're looking for great endings and beginning scenes that just... This movie, once the first thing happens, it just never lets up. It's great, it's claustrophobic, it's a really great movie, so check that one out. Now, number 1. I could talk about this movie for minutes, hours, weeks, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries. This movie, better watch out, is honestly one of my favorite of all time, and I don't know why more people don't know about this movie. It's so good. Better Watch Out is about these two kids. They're hanging out, and the babysitter is about to move, and so it's the last time this babysitter will babysit. What's his name? No, how do I not know this? Lucas. So Lucas, last time he ever got babysit by his hot babysitter, and so he decides to make a move, and all this, it's super. Shut up. All this time, it's like super awkward. Great acting though, and then all of a sudden, something happens, and it's crazy. And so it starts off on a home invasion film. Shut up, dogs. But then what happens is something happens crazy, and then it all lets down for a sec, and then bam, something happens again, and this is the craziest hostage situation film you will ever see in your life. The acting, and the whole time you're just thinking, what the hell are these people gonna do next? It is absolutely, without a doubt, my favorite horror movie I've ever seen, and I stumbled on it, and I'm so glad I did. Me and my brother went in knowing nothing about it. So if you know nothing about it, just going to this film, you will have a blast. So I highly suggest you check out Better Watch Out. It's so great. It's also a Christmas-themed horror movie. It takes place in Christmas. So I literally, every Christmas, I'll be watching this. I love it. I just found out about it a few months ago, and I feel like you should too. So that was my top 10 horror movies you probably haven't seen that you should definitely check out. So I just wanted to put a little disclaimer, okay? When I say these are on streaming services, they could have been taken off by now, but all I know is that's where I watched them, and they're just really great movies. So I hope you guys really enjoyed. Until next time, B-Boy Tuds is out. Peace.
Mr. Hit you with a flow as hot as ticks you. See your girl and fuck her while she sends a text and says she miss you. You should always remember, I am not afraid to diss you. Colder than December while you stuck inside an igloo. I'll dismiss you as I rip through every rapper with you and leave you with a concussion, dogging on you like Shih Tzu. You think it's missionary, ain't no bitches got on top of me. I'm like a supernova, nothing could be stopping me. Biggest in your galaxy and taking